Node.js is a library or a framework. A big myth. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone. This is day 2 of learning backend within just 21 days. Now, the most important part. As yesterday, we already understood everything about how JavaScript works and how is it used to do the backend. What gives JavaScript the power to be used everywhere in the front end, in the backend, and what gives the JavaScript the superpower to be used in the backend itself. This is something we call as Node.js. Now, the big myth that Node.js is a framework or a library. It is none of them. Node.js is a runtime environment which provides JavaScript the superpowers to be used outside the browser. Now let me help you understand that. Okay, so we as a student only do such some projects or anything or participate any competition in college level itself, and our faculty and everyone just keep telling us to do internship. Why? So that we'll get hands-on experience of how things work in the corporate world itself, and we will get more exposure by doing those internships, right? Similarly, in JavaScript, when we create a particular website in the front end itself, whatever that we do, like we add a logic of a particular website, we do some animations in that website using JavaScript, that is only done on the front end. Nothing of that data is being saved in our system. So what is happening here? JavaScript is like us who do stuff only on the college level. And in this way, we actually don't have any kind of exposure also. So to give JavaScript the power to get access to the data, to store the data, to manage the database, to run the user full application on its own, we use something called Node.js. And here, Node.js is like that corporate experience that a particular college student needs to get a hands-on experience. This way, using Node.js, JavaScript can run outside the browser, and it can actually work on the most important part, which is something we call as data or the database. If you understand why we use Node.js in the backend, because it is nothing apart from JavaScript, it is just JavaScript only. But now the scope of JavaScript is changed. JavaScript not only run inside the browser, it can also be used outside the browser in our server, in our system, so that it will be easy for a user to use that application, to run the user application fully in a cycle, to manage the database, to store the database. Everything can be done on the server or on our system itself. No need to be on the browser only. And a fun way to understand that could be simple JavaScript would be a student in a class, but Node.js would be a student doing a job outside the class. Here comes the most important part, which is something we call as event loops. As we know that JavaScript is a synchronous language and it follows a very basic concept of doing one task at a time, no multiple tasks simultaneously. To improve that, JavaScript also use concepts called promises, async await, but in Node.js also uses single main thread philosophy. Let's take an example of a chaiwala. What chaiwala does? वो चाय बना सकता है, चाय सर्व कर सकता है, बिलिंग कर सकता है, अपने कस्टमर से बात भी कर सकता है. Everything is done by just a single person. This is how Node.js works. अब जो चाय वाला हमारा काम कर रहा है, वो एक टाइम पे एक काम नहीं करता है. When he put the water to be boiled, वो तब तक दूसरे का बिल बना देता है. उसके बाद तीसरे पर्सन का ऑर्डर ले लेता है. साथ साथ में जब तक उसमें चाय पत्ती और चीनी डालता है, उसी टाइम पे वो साथ में दूसरों से बातें भी कर लेता है. Like he is doing everything on its own. He doesn't wait for one task to be completed. He is doing everything simultaneously. Now, I just told you about a concept called event loop. Now, what is event loop? This is the concept which is being used here. Event loop. Event is the task that has been happening right now. Loop is, as we know, that it is something that helps a particular event to run number of times, like according to the condition or based on the iterations. Now, what event loop does here is that do everything in the background. Don't let everyone see this. For now, you just only show the task that the user want to see currently. Otherwise, everything will be done in the background only. So did you understand that event loops helps you make your website or application look seamless? And another way to understand this would be that Node.js doesn't sit or wait for one task to be completed. All the tasks like reading a file, writing to a file, fetching a data from a user, everything is being done in the background, but what the user see is that what he or she wants currently. Now the most important part comes here. NPM basics. Now you must be considering what is this NPM? Okay, so NPM is just a Play Store for your application. Let's say you want WhatsApp in your mobile phone. You will just go to Play Store, install that. You want Instagram, you want Google Maps, anything that you want, you just go to there and download it from there. Similarly, when you are building a particular website, let's say in a particular website, you want email application to be linked or payment gateway to be linked, but you don't know the logic like how you will do that. So you can just simply import or install anything which have in a single package. Now what is package? Okay, before understanding what npm is, we need to understand what package is. Package is a ready made tool, like you don't need to do everything on your own. So package helps you get a ready made tool, you don't need to implement it on your own from scratch. Once you need a particular package, you need to go to your Play Store. And now here, what is the Play Store? Here the Play Store is NPM. The full form of NPM is Node Package Manager. Here NPM just tells you to come, write npm install and the package name, and you will get it in your system, or you will get that package in your application. That's it. And here comes the most important part of our JavaScript. CommonJS versus ES modules. Now, what is it? Before understanding the difference between both of them, you need to understand what modules are. Let's take an example of our mom. What she does, let's say I want to eat something, I'll tell my mom, I'll request her that I want this, she will just quickly cook that, serve it for me. But does she only do that? Only she only cooks the food or serves the food? No, right? She can also manage a lot of tasks in her home, the work that she do, like she will be able to manage both personal and professional life with so much elegance. Now what I can say is that my mother is an expert in everything. Modules are nothing but our moms, who is expert in everything. Whatever that you need, you just need to make a request and you will get the response in single minute. When you want a particular module in your application, let's say you don't know how to cook, so you will call your mom to come and help you in cooking, right? You want that, you made a request. Now whenever in our application you want something to be there which you don't know how you can implement it, so you will just simply import that from a module. There are two ways to do that: CommonJS and ES modules. So I hope that now you understand what CommonJS and ES module is. They are nothing but the methods which are used to import a particular data or function from an existing module. Now, CommonJS is a traditional way to do that, and ES modules is the modern way to do that. What CommonJS says is that whenever you need a particular package to be imported or a function to be imported from a module, you will use a function called require. Think of CommonJS as like wired earphones. Like these are evergreen, you can use it anytime. But what ES module says is that instead of using that require function, you will simply use a syntax called import the package name from the module name. That's it. You will use here import from architecture. That's it. Up here, both are doing the same job, but the writing way is different. And we can also say that ES modules is also more future driven and modern. How? We can take an example of AirPods here. Like instead of using earphones, now we are switching more towards using AirPods, right? Both are doing the same task, but to make it more fashionable or modern, we are switching to that particular area. That's it. And that's it about day 2. Now you know what is Node.js, how it helps JavaScript to get the power to run backend on your system, what is event loop, what npm is, how you can import and export any module in your application itself. That's it about this video. Now if you found any value in this video, do like, share and subscribe, and share it with anyone who is struggling with all those concepts. And you will find all the important links regarding the tutorials, the documentation that you need to read to understand that better, and the coding tutorial about that in the description box. And make sure to follow me on Instagram so you can get regular updates regarding internships, DSA development, anything that you need. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.